Hello and welcome to SCI GUYS, the show where we talk about the crazy, weird, and wonderful stories from the science world. I'm Corey, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, the lovemaking Luke Cutfirth.
That's uncomfortable.
This week, we're talking about magnetic mating and imaging intercourse. But first, Luke, I've got a question for you.
Okay.
Where is the weirdest place that you have boned?
Oh, well, I've only done it the once, so...
Yeah, what's the weirdest place? The one place that you've done it, right?
I'm not going to answer that question about myself, but I'll tell you the weirdest place I've heard of somebody doing it, which is not me hiding where it was for me. This is not a place I've done this. To be clear, lots of caveats. I heard somebody did it in a disabled toilet in a cathedral, and I just think that's insensitive in multiple different ways.
That was you.
That was not me.
You told me that story.
Did I?
Wait, was it you?
No. Did I tell you that was me?
No, maybe you did say that it was you, but that story sounds familiar to me. I don't know.
I don't know.
Was it me? Did I tell you that story? Did I do that?
I'm going to cut this conversation short because my dad listens to this show. Please continue.
So we'll talk about it on the Patreon. And then, as I usually do, I'll have my weekly call with your dad. Yeah. And I'll tell him what we've spoken about on the podcast and on the Patreon.
Wow, like some kind of are you the handler and he's a spy?
No, we're just good pals ever since your stag do. Look, we just we catch up every week. Talk about you, our thoughts, our feelings, our frustrations.
Okay. Well, yeah, we could talk about this on the Patreon. I don't mind that at all. Let's do that. But if I get an email saying Chris Cutforth signed up to the Patreon, I think I might delete it.
The entire Patreon is gone.
We're done. I'm out of this show now.
Now someone's going to sign up with that name. So speaking of names, the title of this study, you know nothing about this, but I want to see if you can figure out what it is this is about. Magnetic resonance imaging of male and female genitals during coitus and female sexual arousal.
Is this a study by our friend Jamie? Didn't he do something like this? Oh no, he wrapped something round people's penises and forced them to watch porn. Anyway.
Didn't force them. They watched it.
Well, they volunteered for the study. After that, he forced them. Anyway, no, he didn't. Right. So you're doing MRI scans on people's genitals whilst they're having sex to see how the tissues change, how the shape changes?
Literally just to see,
just because you're a pervert?
All of the above.
You're a pervert and a scientist.
Honestly, that's redundant.
The Venn diagram is just a circle.
You don't want to know what they want to do to that circle. So it was published 18th of December, 1999, just in time for Christmas, in the British Medical Journal, BMJ.
Merry Christmas! MRI images of penises and vaginas.
Remember how before we started this episode, I said, let's try and keep it euphemistic and stuff,
Yeah.
How many times do you think you said the names of those genitals thus far?
Merry Christmas! Winkies and peepees.
Those are both...
Yes. Winkies and the other one. Merry Christmas. Santa's Italian and also a pervert this year.
This year. This year.
Yeah. Well, yes.
So, as I said, published in the BMJ, a bunch of authors. I could read them all out. Would you like me to read them all out?
No, just do the first one and then et al.
Willie Broad. Wow.
He's called Willie Broad. No way.
Dude, I promise you, I was hoping you were going to pick up on this. There are so many fun names throughout this entire thing.
They've got to have been messing around here.
No. I mean, maybe. So, Willie Broad, Weismar Schultz, who's an associate professor of gynecology, may not be now, but was then. And then a few others who, again, you can go down to the
He's literally called Dr. Big Dick.
Broad.
Dr. Dick Wide.
Broad Willie. Willie Broad. So
I'm a gynecologist, Mr. Wide Penis. What the hell? Go into a different line of work. I'm sorry. I just think that's a really strange decision.
I don't think you should not do that because your name is in a different language, bear in mind, is slightly similar to something that sounds a bit silly,
Oh, what language is he speaking?
Well, I don't know. Dutch, maybe? Looks like Dutch.
He should know better. The Dutch all speak English.
They do. So it was an observational study. I want to read you the introduction. So I'm just it's a big old quote, but it's worth it. I exposed to men the origin of their first and perhaps second reason for existing, Leonardo da Vinci, 1452 to 1519, wrote these words above his drawing, The Copulation, in about 1493. The Renaissance sketch shows a transparent view of the anatomy of sexual intercourse as envisaged by the anatomists of his time. The semen was supposed to come down from the brain through a channel which can be seen in the spine of the man. In the woman, the right lactiferous duct is depicted as originating in the right female breast and ending in the genital area. Even a genius like Leonardo da Vinci distorted men's and women's bodies, as seen now, to fit the ideology of his time and to the notions of his colleagues, who he paid tribute to.
Cum is stored in the brain.
That is true. That's a true fact from Leonardo da Vinci. You can take that to the bank. The sperm bank.
So what did he think the balls were for then?
Just a bit of fun.
Because the
Just bat
Romans
'em
thought
around.
they were weights to drag down your vocal cords and make you speak low.
Yeah.
But
Again, true.
I would have thought that by the time we got to Da Vinci, we might have figured out that the spine is not just a tube for the jisms.
It's a tube for stuff, though, right? I mean, I think it's maybe not necessarily what he thought, but it's what the prevailing thoughts were at the time, if that makes sense, right? I mean, there's plenty of stuff that we could be dead wrong about right now, and people could look back in a few hundred years and be saying, how could they have thought that pee was stored in the bladder? It's obviously stored in the balls.
But did no one cut open the balls?
That doesn't mean that you don't cut open the balls and just semen leaks out.
Oh, no?
No!
I mean, that's kind of what I mean, that's why. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what I'm talking about, but like...
I mean, I assume not. That seems insane. That doesn't seem like it should be how it works at all.
But you don't cut open the brain and a bunch of semen leaks out.
But you don't cut open
But
anything and semen leaks
nothing
out.
semeny leaks out of the brain, so, you know.
I don't know. I mean, kind of the brain fluids are probably kind of semen-like.
Is your brain just floating in...
It is. Yeah.
Is it? Oh, okay.
It's what makes me so powerful, you know? That's that raw masculine energy surrounding my brain, cushioning it from the feminine world is really what gives me the edge.
Yeah, Andrew Tate is always on about that, isn't he?
Mm-hmm,
You need to bury your brain in cum.
And that's why edging is so important. Look, if you let it get out of you, then it doesn't fill up your brain hole. And if it doesn't fill up your brain hole, then you don't get to be as smart and masculine as I am.
Get brain damage, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So, previous studies, and this is the first of the funny names.
Okay.
I honestly, I'm not trying hard with these names. Literally, these are just the names mentioned in the previous studies.
Okay.
Dickinson, 1933.
Dickinson. Questionable. We should put him in jail. Carry on.
A glass test tube as big as a penis in erection inserted into the vagina of female subjects who were sexually aroused by clitoral stimulation, occasionally with a vibrator, guided him in constructing his pictorial supposition. Basically,
Is he using a glass dildo?
test tube, yeah.
A test tube?
Yeah.
What's wrong with just a normal sex toy?
It was 1933. How many normal sex toys do you think they had at the time?
Hey, you need to read some archaeologist reports. There's loads of old sex toys lying around.
They're just coming out of the Victorian era, and they're in World War... No, they're not in World War II yet, but they're getting close.
I feel like a glass test tube is playing with fire there. I read a tweet by this lady who used a wine bottle the other day. She was talking about how she used a wine bottle and then something that oh god, what was it? And it got all tangled in the... Anyway, the wine bottle surprisingly didn't do the damage. The sort of device did. Anyway, that's a tangent and didn't expect to take us on. My point is, seems like you're playing with fire there using a test tube.
Test tubes can stand up to some, vaginas.
Some vaginas.
They can.
Famously.
Test tubes can do it. No, so I think the idea here was essentially just to try and get something roughly the same size. And what do scientists have on hand? Test tubes. But they basically wanted to kind of see what was going on inside. And you can imagine, right, that up until very recently, it was quite difficult to know what was going on during coitus. That's what they were trying to figure out, right? Basically, how does everything work? And it seems like obvious knowledge now because we've grown up our entire lives with this knowledge of what's going on in there. And I guess the ability to get these images, but it's not something that's been, very easy to do technologically, but also culturally as well, right? Sort of study into the very sort of basic how does sex work is probably something that's going to get hard. It's going to get hard. It's going to be hard to get by, the
church.
Hard to get funding for and get by the church and Queen Victoria, who famously had no sex at all. She was the Virgin Queen, right?
That's the propaganda we're told.
How'd she have all them kids?
Virgin birth, magic lady. All of the children are Jesus. That's how.
Sure. You figure that one out and get back to us. And so then in the 1960s, right, there was Masters and Johnson.
Oh, good. Masters, yeah. And Johnson, oh my God. Okay, so the thing is, I'd forgotten this was 1933. So they probably weren't messing around because
This was 1960s. So Johnson is absolutely, yeah.
I feel like they're memeing, but that's not an era of memeing. So
it's just their names.
It's just their names.
I mean, this study brings together all of these people, all of this previous work.
Truly the Avengers of sex research.
It's hard
Willie
to beat
Broad, we've got Johnson, we've got Masters, and we've got, what was the other? Dickinson. Yeah,
Dickinson,
great.
yeah. And so in the 60s, Masters and Johnson, they used an artificial penis that could mechanically imitate natural coitus, and by direct observation, the introduction of a speculum and bimanual palpation. Do you know what bimanual would mean here?
Like manual twice, like two people doing it. Or you doing...
What does manual mean?
With your hands? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're just having a little rub.
With two what?
Fingies.
Two hand. Oh my God.
Two hands? God. That's a lot of work.
So no, they're just they're feeling around, and because they can't look inside, right? So they basically they're
just like
using,
you're opening some curtains. Hello. Here's Johnny.
Literally opening curtains. And then in the 90s,
do you pitch this for funding? Like, do you not just look like a pervert?
Yeah, literally. There's a whole part of this paper that talks about how difficult it was. I've got that quote in just a second.
Right.
But there's a whole part of this paper that talks about how difficult it was to get this study done. And then in 1992, Riley et al. Was an ultrasound study. So the images that they got from that were not great quality because they used a handheld self-scanning ultrasound equipment. And
as a sex toy. I mean,
maybe, but
using test tubes and other things.
I think it was
killed two birds with one stone.
Crucially, the point here is they want to understand what happens with both genitals when, during, coitus, right? So you want to, as much as possible, you want to use the actual equipment, and the idea is trying to get an image of that happening in action. Because, you can use a test tube, but you're not going to know what actually happens to the real thing using a test tube.
Yeah,
right?
because it might do something different.
Test tubes and penises, famously, have many differences. One is slightly more opaque than the other, I'd argue. Test tubes tend to be bigger.
Can't fill a penis up with acid.
I don't know. That depends what you're into.
Yes, okay.
We've got some conversations to have after this.
Can't stick a penis under a Bunsen burner.
Again, Luke. Depends what you're into.
Okay, you can do all these things, whether you should or not.
There's a reason I was banned from science in school. So the methods, Luke, that they did to do this. In Sex and the Human Female Reproductive Tract, Levin stated, the scientific study of interaction of human genitals during coitus and after ejaculation with and without female orgasm has always been a difficult and controversial with ethical, technical, and social problems. We experienced this personally. It took years, a lobby, undesired publicity, and a godsend, in brackets, 2 tablets of sildenafil, 25 milligrams to obtain our images. They show that such pictures are feasible and add to our knowledge of anatomy.
What's that drug they're taking? Are they taking it, or
take a guess?
Is it what's that thing that gives you an erection?
Yeah.
Okay. What's it again?
Viagra.
Viagra. That's the one.
Basically the same. Yeah.
So did the researchers take that, or the study participants?
I think everybody took it. It was going around.
Let's all get hard.
Guys, we have got so much funding. Let's go!
You want to play with Soggy Biscuit? You know that we both know somebody who genuinely played Soggy Biscuit at school.
I feel like I know exactly who it is because it's the person who went to the kind of school where they would actually do that.
Yeah, like genuinely.
That's gay.
I just think it must be really traumatizing. Don't Google it if you don't know what we're talking about.
No, Google it, man. Google it. The thing is, it's one of those games where it kind of points out that straight men are gayer than anyone else
when left to their own devices. Yeah,
they're the gayest people known to man. I mean, I've had sex with a man or two in my time, Luke, and I'll tell you, nothing I've done has been remotely as gay as locker rooms growing up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I went to an all-boys school to begin with. I did not enjoy the locker rooms. They were not fun.
Because you're the weak one, Luke.
No,
you're the weak one.
I'm just shy.
That's weakness. You have to be the strong one. You have to show strength, and then you're not the one that eats the biscuit. Although I'll say this, right?
Yeah.
Soggy biscuit. Yeah. Right. The rules of the game seem to be confusing to me.
Okay.
Because
you don't need to Google it anymore. By the way, Corey's going to make it fairly clear.
Look, it's just so you've got your biscuit, right? I would argue probably a digestive would be you don't want a hobnob because it'd get stuck in all the Kraggles.
Yeah, it's whatever matron gives you, I think, in these private schools.
Chocolate digestive, surely. That's the upper echelon of biscuits. So you get your chocolate digestive then, and it's the last person to finish on the chocolate digestive has to eat it, right? Or on the biscuit has to eat it.
Yeah.
And that seems to be counterintuitive because you want to last as long as possible, right? Like it should be a test of endurance, I think, rather than a test of who can get it out the quickest.
But I think the point is it like, well...
Oh, wait, no, because you're doing it with a bunch of guys, it's because then whoever's gayest would win.
Yeah, so it's whoever's least gay has to do the most gay thing.
Which is good, because then it's a punishment for them for...
not being gay enough.
This is a really confusing... This is what I mean. It's a confusing game. It doesn't...
Yeah,
the morals of it are off.
Yeah, I don't think anyone ever considered that the people who got there first, they are the gayest ones. At least in theory, at least. Because they would have been then bullied, but they won the game. So that's very confusing.
I think I know. It's all fallen into place, and I understand it now.
Yeah.
What happened was in Eton or some other school.
Eton, that's good. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. In Eton or some other school, where there are lots of boys who have lots of money and whatnot. There was a boy who was being made fun of for being
super gay.
Yes.
So he invented a game.
Yeah, he invented this game that he's like, I know what it is. I won't be the loser of this. I'll win.
Yeah.
And then this other person has to do this really embarrassing thing that I totally don't want to do.
The least gay kid who's been the bully.
And now you've turned on its head.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like what schools are like today, I assume, where the gay kids have all the power and it's the straight white men that are, the underclass. That's how it works, right?
Now, there's one thing I think you've missed in your retelling of this story or this game, which is that you said it's the last person and that's what you want. You want to last as long as possible. But the problem with that is that I don't think the last one then gets to finish. I don't think they go, all right, okay, well, guys, I'll eat it in a second, but let me just get there.
That's not fair at all.
I think the point is that person does it you want to last, but you don't want to last too long. You don't want to never get there. And that person seems to never get there.
You don't get there because you're not given the chance to. You know what I mean? Look, the point is that when it comes to pleasing a woman, let's say, right?
Yeah, this feels like Patreon content, but sure.
No.
Okay.
When it comes to pleasing a woman, let's say, you don't want to do it as quick as possible, get in and out, and Bob's your uncle, you're done.
Yeah.
Right? You want to spend time on it. You want to really, really get your teeth in, not your teeth. Get your tongue, your lips,
Sorry,
something softer.
Let me just take some notes.
My point is, you want to spend a long time, right, rather than a short time.
Yeah.
And so, every aspect of that game just it seems geared towards training you to be a better gay than it does to be a better straight.
Although you don't want to annoy her by just taking so long that she's like, I'm actually really fed up now. Please, can we stop? So there's a line, is my point.
As long as you get the other person to the finish line, I don't think they're going to be that bothered, If you know that it takes you a while, you can get them there and you can be like, okay, I'm tapping out now. Thank you.
I salute you.
I'm going to go and have a biscuit.
I'm going to go and look at some of my schoolmates.
Sorry, I can't not finish without eating a biscuit. I don't know what it is. Sorry. Do you have any fish sauce or maybe if we can get some xanthan gum and mix that up with some water and some fish sauce.
Imagine playing that game and being like the last two.
Oh yeah.
It'd be so scary.
I feel like that would spur me on
to
finish quicker because I'd be so in it. I'd be like, okay, yes, it's just the two of us. I can just focus on you and
Chariots of Fire music playing in the background.
What if you split it then? What if you were just like, no, let's call it a tie?
Half and half. We'll share. Fetch the cake
it's
knife.
half as bad.
Yeah.
And it's one less person's.
I don't think there's any such thing as half as bad. I think you're either having the biscuit or you're not having the biscuit.
I will be honest with you. And this is the last thing I'll say on this and then we can move on.
Please.
But I will be honest with you. I think the worst part about that game to me would be the thought of it being cold, right? Because what's the time difference between the first person and the last person, right? Even if it's a couple minutes, that body heat is gone from it. It's maybe started to dry up a little bit, and then it's not. You know what I mean?
I think what's even worse is that there's a mixture of temperatures.
Yeah, and consistencies as well. And being able to know whose is whose would be the worst.
I'd just like to formally apologize to everybody listening to this episode. Can we move on? I can't believe I brought this up.
Ding-a-ling-ling, is that the ad bell?
I think it might be. Hello again, old friend.
Go and join our Patreon. Look, we've been doing this for a while now, and some of you keep on doing it, and to those of you, I salute you for that. But you guys know the drill at this point. You can sign up to Patreon, you can get some stuff, you can even not get any stuff if you really want. The main thing is that our pockets are lined, our bellies are full, and Luke's child will have a happy upbringing.
Are you suggesting that if I run out of money, I'm going to become an evil, horrible tyrant?
I would say more of an evil, horrible tyrant. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll get better at it. I'm not very good right now.
I've been thinking about this, right? Because, we've been trying to leverage parasocial relationships, for example.
Have we? Or have you?
No, we have.
Okay.
Passively, actively, we've tried bribery, we've tried threats. And I've realized what people tend to really not like is child abuse. Yeah, so we just do just a few little threats. Just a few little. Right? Not enough to get sort of, the Child Protective Services or whatever called.
Right.
But enough such that people are like, oh, well, I've got a spare $5. May as well give it to SCI Guys because that will do some. It's like giving it to a charity, right?
Yeah. Okay. So sign up to the Patreon. You get lots of lovely things. Get bonus episodes of SCI Guys. We carry on talking after we finish recording the podcast. Sometimes it's an extension of what we've talked about. Sometimes it's something completely random. And if you don't, my child does not get any chocky buttons.
And maybe worse. That's it. Bye.
Oh.
So look, in this study, they used magnetic resonance imaging, MRIs, to basically see what was going on during coitus. So they specifically want to look at the anatomy and physiology of human sexual intercourse.
I'm guessing this is now not with test tubes. This is people having sex in an MRI machine.
Yeah, I mean, human sexual intercourse doesn't usually include test tubes.
No? I've been doing this all wrong.
This is why you only have one child,
I
right?
thought that's what a test tube baby was. When you have sex with a test tube and you have a test tube baby.
So when I went to your house,
yeah,
and I saw all these test tubes full of milk in the fridge.
Massive collection of test tubes, yeah.
So those weren't just portioned out shots of milk for coffee.
No, I don't pre-portion all of my shots for coffee.
I now see why it curdled so much.
Oh, God. Sorry, I didn't realize what you were saying the milk was.
Yeah, I didn't realize I'm the real victim here. So they went through a lot to try and get this done. Like we'd said just before the break, they had to lobby to get it. They had to
please let me watch people have sex through my MRI machine, please.
Yeah, I mean that's less pervy than just watching them and writing down what happens. So he to carry on, they started this search in 1991 when they saw black and white slide of basically a MRI of the mouth and throat of a professional singer who was singing and then the person who saw that
got really horny and was like, I'm gonna watch someone else go
and then the person that saw that remembered that Leonardo's drawing and then wondered whether they could sort of get the same image of humans doing it, and so they basically then started off trying to get the study done. There is a quote here. It's "Honi soit qui mal y pense." Shame on him who thinks evil of it. This whole paper, it's a brilliant read. It's literally just people having sex in an MRI machine. But it's science, and it's funny, and it's interesting, and it's one of those things that really makes you think about, like, oh yeah, we need to do this. This is something that we need to do if possible, because, well, one, we need to reproduce and keep the species going. No, but we need to do this so that
Elon Musk.
so that we understand the physiology of intercourse. Otherwise, we wouldn't have nearly as good of an idea of what is going on because it's all quite hidden.
What's that rule on the internet of like? There's like if
34.
If you can think of it, there is pornography of it. I feel like there are some things that's not true for purely because the cost of producing it is just too high, right? And one of those was people having sex in an MRI machine. No pornographer was going to be able to get access to an MRI machine and then film it and then put that on the internet for porn. But I'm guessing this...
You're looking in the wrong places.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, I've got it right. I've got it right here in front of me.
Oh,
no, I actually have so many. I have so many images of the study. But also, Rule 34 tends to apply to drawn things.
Right.
You can draw it, So even if you can't film it, Luke.
Right.
The wonders of animation.
Cartoon MRI porn. Lovely.
After this, Luke, you can go home and you can search that, and I promise you something will come up. If you can think it, you can kink it. So they basically got 8 couples. They got to do all of this. They found them through a local scientific television program.
Local dogging spot.
Well, no, personal invitation. So maybe, who knows?
Mhm.
Personal invitation and a local scientific television program is how they found the people to do it. They were invited to participate if they met the following criteria: older than 18 years old, important; intact uterus and ovaries, quite important; and small to average weight/height index.
So you can fit in the MRI machine.
That, or to have that kind of porn star body. You don't know.
Does it say that in the study? Criteria.
To have that kind
Hot
of
as hell.
porn star.
I don't want to look at someone ugly in an MRI machine having sex. Gotta be sexy.
Subject had enlarged breasts and installed, oh wow, silicone bags of...
That's right. I thought you were genuinely reading.
See, I'm getting out of it.
Acting.
No. They don't describe that. It's just normal people having normal intercourse in a normal MRI machine.
Is that what that BBC show was? It's normal people. It's short for normal people having normal intercourse in a normal MRI machine. I didn't read the whole title.
No, that's the sequel.
Oh, okay.
So they basically then sent the experimental procedure in a letter along with an informed consent form, because that's obviously very important. They were assured confidentiality, privacy, anonymity, and the possibility of withdrawing from the study at any time. But I will say this, Luke, that I don't think is good enough, because as you and I both know, pulling out is not
a good method.
It's not 100%. So, as I said, 13 experiments with 8 couples. 3 couples performed 2 experiments each, and there were also 3 single women. It was on 2 Saturdays in 1991.
This is quite early, actually, because this is like an era, like this is just before I was born. Like, it was a very still quite churchy era. Like,
yeah,
I grew up going to church a lot, and so that, you know, necessarily biases me slightly. But it was very normal in that era to talk about what God wants and thinks on the radio or on the TV. It was a very sort of Christian society. Like, the prime minister would probably, in elections and stuff, they would talk about God in those election periods, which you just would think is so bizarre these days. So it's actually, I kind of hadn't appreciated how this must have been quite difficult to get done and would have been quite controversial.
Yeah, no. And the fact that it was Dutch as well. I assume it was Dutch based on those names. I think it was. I can't remember.
Oh, well, they're just a godless society, aren't they?
I was going to say they're very forward with a lot of things.
I imagine so, yeah.
Yeah, godless makes sense. I will say, whenever the Prime Minister mentions God, I'm like, that's not for you to talk about. That's the president's job. God is for America, and Britain gets the scraps. So they used one MRI machine, and they switched to a different one because there was a lot of noise. You couldn't really see what you want to see. The images were really low quality, and they had a lot of artifacts. They switched to another MRI machine in 1996, apparently. Yes, so a new MRI was available in 1996, and they switched to that one. Because they wanted to have sharp images so they could really see what was going on.
Sure. I bet they did.
It's not pervy, man. It's science.
Yeah.
And I'll say this now. So what's going to happen is this episode is going to be flagged by the automatic censors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to have to put in some kind of like request for it to be reviewed by a person, and then it will be reviewed by some AI again, and then I'll probably go to Twitter and complain to YouTube about it being taken down, and then I'll go to the people that we know at YouTube and say, hey, can you get an actual person to look at this? And so when an actual person does look at this, look, man, or woman, or person of no or all genders, this is educational. I know it doesn't seem it because we're being very silly, but I promise this is purely educational, and all the times we talk about intercourse and coitus are to educate our viewers on the history of science.
We're just edging them through the education, right? With a little bit of fun. But, you know, the core is there.
We really do edge with the education, don't we? It is.
little dabble of, here's a random tangent that has nothing to do with anything. Oh, and a tiny bit more education.
Edging your brain. You can't spell education without edging.
Edge.
I don't even know. The thing is, I'm trying to think about that, and I'm like, is there another E in edging? Because I think you might be able to spell education. Oh, you can spell education without edging.
Look, we're not a spelling channel, we're a science channel.
And scientists don't need to know how to spell. All they need to know how to do is hold a clipboard.
A clipboard? Is that what they used for the... Carry on. I genuinely thought you said a clipboard.
Sometimes I could just... the power of silence, you know? The power of just looking at someone and letting them sit in what they said and watching them squirm.
Please save me. I didn't think this through.
So they put them in a well, in an MRI machine, obviously, in the tube, they had a curtain to cover the window between the two rooms, an improvised curtain, it says. They used the intercom as the only means of communication because obviously they couldn't see each other.
We're having sex. Yeah, we're doing it.
Do you know the question? Is it in?
Yeah.
Imagine not just being asked that
Yeah.
by the person that you're doing it with, but being asked by the scientists who are there, not watching exactly, but they will be watching at some point. They're taking images. The scientists that are imaging you having sex, they're like, is it in? And you're like, yeah, man.
I just don't like the idea of the scientist leaning down to the intercom and going, did you come?
It is vital that you don't, okay? It is imperative that that doesn't happen. I actually don't know if they did. I think they did to, well, there were some female orgasms here. We'll get to that later on.
Celebrate.
And that is when science discovered that women can do that too. No, I'm joking. It was much later. The participants were asked to lie with their pelvises near the marked center of the tube and not to move during imaging, which is insane, right? So yes, this is the point, right? You can't be moving because if you're moving during the imaging, you're going to get a blurry image. So they need to stay as still. I mean, you know,
like
about
a
MRIs.
Victorian portrait.
Like an MRI.
Yeah.
yeah. But also like a Victorian portrait, yeah. Or any portrait.
Truly the Victorian portrait of the day, isn't
Why
it?
did you choose Victorian? That's such a specific pull.
Because you had to sort of sit still for ages and they go like, take your photo and you had to sit still for like 30 seconds.
Photographic portrait. A Victorian
Yes.
photographic portrait.
Not
Okay.
a painting.
I thought it was a photographic portrait initially, but then I was like, well, you are just saying portrait. Maybe you do mean a painting because you do need to sit still for longer for that.
Yeah, true. Yeah. So, no, that's not what I meant.
No, you need to sit. You need to be still. So that was another issue of it, right? Because they've got to get the man erect, inserted, and then stay still and maintain that erection. That's why the what is it, sildenafil or whatever it was, the Viagra type thing was such a godsend.
Oh, yeah, because otherwise you just over the whatever 30 seconds you just like slowly droop.
Exactly, and you won't get to see exactly what's going on. So this is something you can all sort of. I like doing things where you can kind of try it at home. You know, like we learn hands-on. It's a really great way to learn. So if anyone's
take
listening
some
at
Viagra.
home, so if anyone's listening at home, just go ahead and find your partner and insert yourself. With consent, of course.
Okay.
And just hold there, or, you know, find your partner to insert into you, and hold there for as long as you can, and just see what happens. It's going to be quite hard to maintain that. I mean, I'd imagine. Anyways,
you know, sometimes you just let someone sit in their own silence of what they've created.
Oh, I was going to say you're going to enjoy what's going on in the Patreon.
Okay.
And then get to the comments, obviously, and let us know the results of your experiment. Remember, it's not weird so long as you're holding a clipboard. That's what makes it science.
It's just like in America where it's not prostitution as long as you're filming it. Then it's porn.
Yeah,
that was the thing.
Here too, though, right? Surely.
I don't know. Did we have laws against that? I have no idea.
I wouldn't know, man. I mean, none of the people that I work with seem to. Anyway, so they wanted people to not move because it would blur up the images. It was a 64 millisecond echo time. I don't know what that means. With a repetition time of 4.4 milliseconds. But they basically, that was it. They got 14 seconds that it took them to get the images. They had 11 slices of relatively good quality images from those 14 seconds. So that's kind of how they did it. Right, I'll go through the procedure that they laid out in the study. So the volunteers were shown the equipment in the true rooms. Personal and gynecological histories were taken. The experimental procedure was explained, and all investigators left the imaging room. Preliminary image for positioning the true pelvis of the woman was taken. The first image was taken with her lying on her back. There's images of this in the. Go to the paper. There's plenty of images.
Funnily enough, we're not going to show them on YouTube.
Heavily blurred. It's all blur. Then the male was asked to climb into the tube and begin to face...
Which tube?
Into the MRI tube and begin face-to-face coitus in the superior position. After this shot, successful or not, the man was asked to leave the tube and the woman was asked to stimulate her clitoris manually and to inform the researchers by intercom when she had reached the pre-orgasmic stage.
Right. And then, what, does he go back in?
No. So after that, they stopped the auto-stimulation for a third image, and then... They take another image once she'd restarted the stimulation to achieve an orgasm. And then 20 minutes after the orgasm, another image was taken. And then they looked at the images after that. That was the whole procedure.
So that's like comparing the 20 minutes later is like you've all cooled down now. So we can see what had changed because of your playing with yourself.
Yeah, essentially they want to see all kind of stages of the process, like intercourse, orgasm, and post as well, right? Or pre-orgasm, post-orgasm as well.
You just unlocked a weird childhood memory of mine. which I will share on the Patreon, not here.
I don't know if I want to
don't
hear
think
that.
it's no. It's like something I saw. No, anyway, carry on. Something I saw on the internet. A really weird thing I saw on the internet when I was a child. It's Patreon content.
We get to scar a whole new generation of children secondhand now. So the result. So this is a really great quote. There's so many great quotes in this study. So what started as an artistic and scientific curiosity has now been realized. We have shown that magnetic resonance images of the female sexual response and the male and female genitals during coitus are feasible and beautiful.
Was anyone contesting that it was possible? I think we all knew it was possible, didn't we?
No, we didn't know it was possible. Not necessarily. I mean, it's a really difficult thing to do, right? I mean, MRIs haven't been around for that long, obviously, and there's been centuries of people trying to figure out how to do this. Like, remember Dickinson and Leonardo and all of those people, right?
All those perverts. Yep.
All of the euphemistic names.
Yeah.
They've been trying for centuries. And then MRI comes around and they figure out a way to get this done. They try to do it with another MRI machine, and it didn't really work because the images were too fuzzy. So it was only around like 96 that they managed to get it done, right?
Get it done. Yeah.
There's very few ways of speaking that don't somehow euphemistically tie back to intercourse.
Yeah. Okay, so did we learn anything, or did we just learn that we can take photos of people having sex in a sciencey way?
Well, we did learn something. We learned quite a bit. So I'll just read the results here for you. The little sort of bit that's in the abstract. The images obtained showed during intercourse in the missionary position, the penis has the shape of a boomerang, and 1/3 of its length consists of the root of the penis. During female sexual arousal without intercourse, the uterus was raised and the anterior vaginal wall lengthened. The size of the uterus did not increase during sexual arousal. So that was another thing that earlier on people thought, oh, the uterus must get bigger, it must engorge during sexual arousal. And what was probably happening is when they were feeling around in there, they were just feeling like different. They weren't feeling it right, basically, and they just assumed, oh, it must get larger. The uterus must get bigger to accommodate for what's going in there. But that's not the case. So this is how you're saying sort of like, oh, did we learn anything, or did we just learn that we could take pictures of it? In sex ed, you probably learned about, I'd hope you learned about intercourse, right?
Yes, it was said.
And these are foundations that some of that knowledge will be based on, right? Like, because, we now know how it actually works. Like, we know one thing goes into the other and then a baby comes out at some point, maybe. That's good knowledge, but actually knowing the mechanics, the anatomy, how it all works is not necessarily, well, it can be important, right? For certain sexual dysfunctions, for certain issues, all of these sorts of things. It's useful to know this stuff.
Yeah, to be fair, like, I'm now thinking back to my sex ed, and like the amount of detail is insane. It's not like necessarily, because when you said that, I almost thought you meant like we were taught like what the body physically does during sex, which we weren't really, other than like the basics. But the detail we get on like, and then like the sperm swims up this place, and then this thing sort of wafts it along, and then like this thing's meant to trap some sperm, and they get stuck, and they go, oh no, and then like that level of detail, which is definitely, we were shown a video, like an animation of that, and now that I think back to it, I'm like, yeah, how the hell would we find that out? Like, I don't know where you'd begin to find out that level of detail.
Well, first you get a scientist, a team of scientists.
Catch one.
And then you shrink them down.
Yes.
And a Fantastic Voyage type situation.
Yeah.
Like,
Honey, I Shrunk the Scientists.
Honey, I made the kids. There's...
Usually it's the honey who's making the kids.
Hey, look, we're living in a modern world. Anyone can make anything now. Dickinson thought that the penis was in... This is insane, by the way. All of these names, like Dickinson, Masters, and Johnson, it's so hard not to make the jokes. So Dickinson thought that the penis had a sort of S shape during coitus.
S for sex, yeah.
That's how it works. God works in mysterious ways, and sometimes also very obvious ways. And then for Masters and Johnson, they thought that the volume of the uterus increased during sexual arousal, as I said, but obviously they found that was not the case in this study. And they've also got a table here, which I won't put on screen. You can go and look at it if you want. But they've got the ages, they've got the weight to height ratios of the men and the women. They've got the number of children that they have, whether or not they've had a vasectomy, whether or not the woman achieved orgasm, whether the penetration was complete or partial, or there was none, and then just other details. It really, It's a really fun table.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a good job this is anonymous. Otherwise, it'd be pretty sad for you to have, like, immortalized, did not make your wife come. That'd be pretty... Oh.
I'll say this, Luke. There were only 5 of the 13 that did not achieve orgasm.
Congratulations.
Although,
yes.
3 of those cases had no male partner, and all of those cases achieved orgasm
Without the men.
Yeah. There was a 100% success rate without the men.
Well, yeah, they're better at it. Obviously.
Oh my god, this is so sad. And there's different ages as well. So 28-year-olds, 25, 22, 26-year-olds, all the way up to people in their 40s. I say all the way up to people in their 40s. It was mostly people in their early to mid 20s, and then there were 2 couples in their 40s. I think those might have been the couples that, like, there was a pair that were kind of really pushing behind this, and I think those were the ones that really sort of wanted to do it and came back again for more imaging.
And I'm guessing this is probably linked a little bit to the ages of the people doing the study, because you said it was personal invitations. So if it's like postgrads or...
Some personal invitations, and then some from that science show as well. The local
some
science
from
show.
The local dogging spot, yeah.
A dogging spot doesn't need to be local, okay?
You can
They
drive.
belong to all of us.
Yeah, the car is intimately involved in the dogging.
The car is like the important. That's what makes it dogging, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just cruising. Anyways, so no women reported having a G-spot or producing female ejaculation during orgasm. 6 couples succeeded in partial, though not complete penetration. And then in 1998, Viagra became available in the Netherlands. Woo!
Hooray!
That's the sildenafil that I was talking about earlier. And in experiments 9 and 11, they were... God, why was it those 2? Why was it experiments 9 and 11? They were invited to repeat it. Those weren't the 40-year-olds, by the way. They repeated it after the man had taken 1 25 milligram tablet of sildenafil, and they succeeded with complete penetration that lasted long enough, 12 seconds, for sharp images to be taken. And that's where we got those sharp images of human sex from.
Well, thank goodness for Viagra, we wouldn't have those sharp pictures of penises.
Yeah, there's loads of really, like, I mean, I would recommend, I know I say this a lot, but I would really recommend going and reading this study, because it's not too hard to get through, but it is also really interesting, in some cases, really quite funny, because, look, we can be a little childish, but reading a scientific study about something like this can be hilarious.
Yeah, and you've got to imagine, like, these people doing this study at the time, they're not going to be like somber, like composed, like, oh, this is... They're going to be being like, isn't this a bit silly? Like, look at what we're doing. Like, surely, I mean, I imagine that they would be.
Well, I mean, at least when you get to the point of writing the paper and you realize that you've got Dickinson, Masters, and Johnson, and what is it? Willie Broad.
If you turned up to a science experiment where you were going to have sex in an MRI machine and you were like, hello, I'm Mr. Dickinson and I'm Mr. Willie Broad, you'd think you're on a hidden camera show.
Right? I would. I'd be like, is this another season of Jury Duty? Is this how we're doing it now? I mean, I'll whip it out still. I don't mind seeing it on TV, but, like, I just want to know, you know?
Yeah.
So, as I said, 8 of the 13 women had complete sexual response during stimulation, and they described their orgasm as superficial.
Super great.
Super
duper.
Yeah, so it was there's loads of, like, sort of nitty-gritty information about this. Like, for example, it wasn't possible on those MRI images to distinguish between the vaginal wall, the urethra, and the clitoris. Don't know why they'd want to do that. They also say these images did not show a widening of the vaginal canal, structure suggesting a Grafenberg spot, or a separate reservoir of fluid indicating female ejaculation. Squirting.
Didn't show that. Okay, because that would have got on the camera.
Yeah.
How would you write that in a sciencey way, Corey?
How would I write what? Well, first of all, there's no camera. It's an MRI machine. So
Sure.
I wouldn't. Maybe we'll save that for the Patreon.
Imagine, like, you know when you see, like, an MRI scan and it, like, goes down, like, all the different layers.
Yeah.
Imagine, like, you see that and it's just like a person, and then it slowly reveals, oh, there's a second person there, and then it's like, oh no,
it's a human centipede.
Whoa, well, what's going on here? I need to call my wife.
Oh my god. I will say that, though, right? If they did do a human centipede, I would want them in an MRI.
Yeah, and in 3D, you want to zoom around that thing.
That's the new human centipede movie. Human centipede 3D.
Yeah. It's got to have the 40. The
40X. Yeah. They find some people and they stitch you up.
It's like poof through your face. Oh, stinky.
Yeah. So broadly, what they kind of discovered from this is that the penis isn't straight during intercourse. It, as I said, it goes that sort of boomerang shape during missionary position as well. And that it says scanning the position of the human genitals during coitus gives a convincing impression of the enormous size of the average penis in erection. Root plus pendulous part is 22 centimeters, and the volume of the vaginal and pelvic space required by the pendulous part of the penis. And so, yeah, being able to, and bear in mind, MRI, you can you're looking in slices, right? So you can see what's going on with each kind of tissue. It's not sort of like an X-ray where you're just looking at bones, sort of thing, right? You're really able to looking at a different kind of bone. Yeah. So just to kind of wrap up what these sort of results were, right? So we've already spoken about the shape of the member, it not being straight, boomerang shaped. I've said that so many times. But the vaginal wall, the anterior vaginal wall, changes quite strikingly. Apparently, not engorgement. That wasn't visible on the images, but the uterus raised, the displacement of the uterus caused by the penetration of the penis, and through gradual filling of the bladder. All of these are sort of changes that take place that then have knock-on effects with the vaginal wall as well. And there's a section in my notes here called performance issues, because there's a quote here saying, "We did not foresee that the men would have more problems with sexual performance maintaining their erection than the women in the scanner. All the women had a complete sexual response, but they described their orgasm as superficial." I mean, you're locked in a little tube. "And only the first couple was able to perform coitus adequately without Viagra. Experiments 1 and 2. Those were the 40-year-olds.
Again, it's a good job this study is anonymous.
Right? I don't even know how anonymous it is, because I think that leading couple, the ones I told you about, right? They actually, I said they're different ages. That's probably just because they did it at a different time when they were older.
Oh,
yeah.
Time.
So the first couple, they were the only ones that were able to do that. But I'm pretty sure they were the ones that were kind of leading the charge of the study, which is why everyone else is so much younger.
Well, of course, they don't mind not being anonymous. They're great at sex.
Well, they're fine doing it in an MRI tube, probably because they're the ones that wanted to do it. Maybe all of this whole experiment was just an excuse to fulfill some kind of fantasy.
Yeah, they just like being watched.
Watched as closely as possible. This is super
watched. Oh God, I'm so turned on. I'm so watched.
It's like super voyeurism, right?
Yeah.
I want to see every inch of you, inside and out.
Every inch of you.
Every millimeter, then. Look, however you want to measure. But yeah, so it actually then goes on to say, the reason might be that they were the only participants in the real sense. They were involved in the research right from the beginning because of their scientific curiosity, their knowledge of the body, and artistic commitment. And as amateur street acrobats, they're trained and used to performing under stress.
Excuse me, what? You can't throw that in right at the end?
That's literally the last bit in my notes. They were amateur street acrobats.
And as amateur street acrobats...
I didn't want to clickbait it. Look, I didn't want people knowing that amateur street acrobats were having sex in an MRI tube, and they click on it and they're like, oh, wow, this is... No, we want to talk about the science, the important science of just regular people having sex in an MRI tube.
And as a group of professional clowns...
That's what I'd want to see.
Whoa! Yeah, you could probably get about 10 of them in an MRI machine. They're so used to being in the little car.
There's only one female clown, and the rest of them all manage to fit in there as well.
That's what I want to do. I want to get a clown car in an MRI machine, and we can finally figure out how they do that, because they won't tell us.
Yeah, it's going to have amazing implications for the science of Tetris at some point. Right? So that is it. Look, is there anything else that you feel like you need to add to this?
Oh, God, so much. But also so little.
But there's not any time, I'm afraid. Look, that is it. That is all from us. And before we go, we'd like to thank all of our patrons. And thank you for watching. You'd find the full references for this episode down in the description. Subscribe for new episodes every Monday. And why not leave us a nice wee comment? Support the pod at patreon.com/SciGuys. Or you can find and contact us at sciguyspod.co.uk.
That's sciguyspod.co.uk. Sciguyspod.co.uk.
You can follow me at NotCorey everywhere.
You can follow me at Luke Cutforth everywhere.
And you can follow us both to the Patreon,
where we'll be having sex in an MRI machine. Won't we, Corey?
Well, I couldn't source the MRI machine, so we'll just have to have sex normally.
Okay.